Great. Okay, so let's get started with the interview. First thing is, as you're talking about leadership, when you hear the word leadership, what comes to mind for you? What does that mean?
Interesting question. So leadership to me is the ability to lead a group of people towards achieving a common goal. Now, there are different ways of actually doing that, different types of leadership, different approaches and all that. But at the end of the day, it is to be the role model, the example, the person who would lead a group towards achieving a common goal, common objectives.
How would you juxtapose leadership and management?
So those are two different things. I'll start with leadership. So I know there are a lot of questions around what is a good example of leadership, what I think of leadership, what others think of leadership, and so on. So leadership, from my perspective, is a little brother. It is, again, being at the forefront, being the face, being the person who bring the group together, the person who facilitates the thinking process, the person who facilitates and the enabling process of the implementation of a common set of tasks that a group would have agreed on, and so on. But management is the actual process of I don't want to say management is management, but it's the actual process of handling the process of making tasks and activities happen. So using all the resources that are available, human resources, the tools, the technologies and financial resources and infrastructure. And so basically using everything that an individual has, putting all that together and making things happen. That's the man. It's dealing with the day-to-day steps towards making something happen.
So how many years do you think you've been leading? Put it all together end to end.
That is a good one. So it depends on what you call leading. It's difficult to say. I remember when I was going through my master's in public health programs, there was a course called Health Policy and Management. And we talked a little bit back then about management, about leadership. And I remember one of the professors asking students, have you been a manager? Have you been managing? And various responses were given in the room. So the point was to say that even our day-to-day activities at home, we perform management activities. We manage our own time. We manage our own schedule. We manage our own interactions with our family members, our kids, our spouse, our parents. The process of handling our personal activities, our professional activities, our social activities, our own constraints and commitments, and in our environment, it's actually performing to some extent some management function. The same thing goes for leadership. So leadership could be in the professional environment, but it could also be in the personal setting. If you happen to be, let me just say, the first born of a family, and we all know how our parents say, well, you being the oldest child, you have to you have to show good examples to your little brothers and so on. You have to lead them. You have to make sure they follow your lead and learn from you and take all the good habits and so on that you have. That's also a form of leadership. So to say how long I've been leader, I'm the firstborn of my family. So I can say that I've been sort of doing that for a while. And in school, we we performed different tasks. I was I'm not sure what is the best way to say that in English, but I was the class lead at some point. So I performed some leadership role there. And then my professional career, I started as a technical advisor doing hands-on day-to-day technical activities, and then moved up the ladder. But anyways, whether you are just a technical person or at a senior management level, there is still some leadership basically that is involved. Because when you work in international help, for instance, and you're put on a plane to go do technical assistance in a country, you have one way or the other to lead yourself, lead your colleagues in a very collaborative and inclusive manner. So it's difficult to put it end to end.
If you look back at your career, and we've certainly learned from others, who would you say have been some of the role models of leadership that you've had around you?
So I would prefer not to mention specific names, sure. but I've had I was lucky to have very, very good role models. So,
tell me with role models, what was it that you learned from them?
Excellent question. It's pretty much everything. So I had one of my senior directors in one of my previous functions, who was really a role model in the way the person defined the vision of what we were supposed to do, but also the way the person involved us in the process of developing that vision, the way the person communicated with us, the way the person basically showed us that being a leader was not necessarily knowing everything and knowing how to do everything, but it is actually surrounding yourself by people who know how to do things and making sure that they work in a very cohesive, synergistic, and complementary manner. So, and also recognizing and rewarding your staff, motivating them, encouraging them, showing support, and knowing exactly when you need to intervene or not. One of the things among all those things, one of the things that I liked a lot that I learned from that process is what I still call eyes on, hands off. So don't fix it unless it's broken. If you're lucky to have a team that performs with every review, all the performance criteria are really met. So no need to stand behind your staff's computer and ask, what are you doing? What are you working on? Where were you? And so on. So you should just have your eyes on what is happening, be hands off, let them do their work, let them encourage their thinking process. If they have ideas, every idea is welcome. You put it on the table, you discuss it, and you see how to move on with it.
Is eyes on, hands off your guiding principle today?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I do. I'm speaking on my personal capacity, but even in my current role as a leader of an institution, that is exactly the approach that I have. I'm lucky to be surrounded by a team of very able and capable people with a lot of experience, who really like what they're doing, who are committed, who are engaged, who do everything they can to make sure that our common goal and objectives are met. So when you have such luck, I think being just again adopting the the principle of eyes on, hands off is the best way to go, and reassure them that you see yourself as a facilitator, as an enabler. Step in when they need you, and when they don't need you, you focus on some other things.